Hello, my name is Mark Kuzik and I'm a professor at Washington State University. I'm very excited to be starting to do these modules in classical mechanics because I'd like to share my problem-solving skills with others. Now you might ask, why am I doing this? There are so many videos out there already. And basically it's because everyone learns in a different way, and so it's good to have choices of different kinds of approaches. So I'm going to give you my approach. So what is my pedagogical philosophy? Well, first of all, I do enjoy the lecture setting, but it has to be done properly. I don't see a lecture as me standing in front of the classroom, but rather it's me having a discussion with the students. So I will lecture, but I will ask students to fill in the blanks. I'll challenge them to try to understand the finer points. And so it's not just me speaking at the whiteboard. And also I don't like to use overheads, or PowerPoint presentations I should say, because I feel like it's too stilted. I'd like to be deriving something with the students, not just throwing information at them that they can get out of the book. Secondly, it's good to step aside to let the students have discussions with each other. Now, often there's not a lot of time to do this in the more rigorous classes, but with these videos, I will give you little puzzlers, and then you can pause the video and try to work them out, and then I will discuss those. But you have to make an honest effort to solve those problems before I actually give you the answers. Now, another thing that's very important is you should read a physics textbook. So find a good textbook at your level of comfort that covers mechanics and read the textbook and then do the homework problems. It's very, very important to suffer through the problems because if you don't, you really won't gain an understanding of the material. I had a professor once who told me that he knew how to do a triple flip in the air. He said, of course, he can't do it, but he knows how to do it. And what he meant was that you read the instructions, you put one foot in front of the other, you switch your weight, you push off, and you do this flip. But until you've practiced it over and over and over again, can you really end up doing it? So you might know how to do it, but to actually do it, you have to practice. So it's important to do problems. And so in my modules, I will pose some problems, and you should try your best to do them. And then after you start up the video again, you'll see my solutions and my approaches to doing these problems. So another thing I like to do is to talk about neat stuff. So when I'm talking about gravity, I might talk a little bit about black holes. When I talk about vectors, I want to talk about multiple dimensional space and things like that. So it usually will not be so much that it'll be confusing and it'll take too much time, but just to whet your appetites to see where a lot of this stuff will be leading. And then the final thing is I'd like to make an apology that I'm going to need to lie. And the reason for that is that physics is something that's constantly evolving. And when I'm teaching classical mechanics, I can't bring in quantum mechanics or relativity or such topics because it's too complicated to teach that at first. And so you have to understand that what I'm teaching you is an approximation to the truth, and that some of the things that we'll be doing are not totally true. But I'm very uncomfortable claiming that they're true when there are these little potential loopholes. So I might mention some of these loopholes, but I'll try to stay away from them so that it's not too confusing. But I do want to point out that some people will say, oh, Newton was wrong because Einstein came along and corrected things. No, Newton was not wrong. It's just that his theories were a very good approximation to nature that people measured at the time. As we had better and better technology to go to higher energies and to look at higher speeds or smaller scales, like to the microscopic scales, that all these other effects started kicking in. So Newton was not wrong. It's just that it was a very good approximation to nature, and that's what we're going to be studying in these modules. So anyway, I hope you enjoy them, and make sure that you do the homework problems and struggle through the material. I guarantee you that your struggles will pay off and you'll be happy with your newfound understanding of physics. Thank you very much for watching.